What's up, folks? Just want to say it has now been 3 years since I started this whole Superman journey. And for those of you that don't know, everything that's happened in the last 3 years, this is a recap for myself. And I wrote it all down to share. And if you don't know, now you know. So, 3 years ago is when I quit my job working at Union Pacific and bought a van and left. So I bought a van for like $500. Probably should have looked a little bit more, but this was more on a kind of a whim thing, and they fixed it for an extra $300. He changed a bunch of stuff on it. Walked into my office and quit. Had the manager ask me about 2 or 3 times if it's sure that it was something that I wanted to do, and I said yes. No, so then I went from there. This was November, obviously. Went from there to Reno. Then I went from Reno to Eugene. Stayed like a week in Eugene, Oregon. And then I went up to Seattle by December. Needed to find a job, so I became a dishwasher and started dishwashing at a senior citizen place in Bellevue in December of 2016. In March of 2017, I ordered a suit finally and was starting to plan everything, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so ordered the suit in March. Was still waiting for the suit, and this is one of the things that I was doing at the time. I made myself still explore the P&W. I mean, I really wanted to wait till I got the suit because I wanted to have everything like fresh and new, but I made myself go explore, and because of that, I sold some merchandise with the Killers. I don't know if you folks know about that, but that happened. That was great. And let's see. So summer of 2017. By that time, it had been March, April, May, June, July. Still 4 months. The North Cascades in Seattle, finally opened up. So I was about to go drive that, and making that drive, I blew a head gasket in the van. I made it all the way back down to Bellevue, stopping about 4 or 5 times to put water in the engine. Made it to a parking garage, and that's where I lived in a parking garage for 3 months until I made up enough money to buy another van. Now, how I did that was I got a job busing at Lucky Strike at night while simultaneously working, still doing dishes during the daytime. So that was in summer. So that was one summer that I didn't have there because I was working all the time. Then I finally got the suit in October. So I leave November on this grand scheme plan, and I make it all the way to October before I finally have the suit. So you could just imagine that whole time taught me a lot of patience. So then I started taking pictures around the Pacific Northwest, blah, 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 blah. And then I was starting to get annoyed with being broke a lot. So I got a job dishwashing at another place. So now I have two because I quit the Lucky Strike job as soon as I bought my other van. I didn't like working at that pizza place, so I quit there. And then I got another job washing dishes somewhere else. So I did that until December of 2018. No, 2017. I didn't like that place. That was like a very busy. They made so many dishes, and I was, like I said, I didn't want to be broke all the time, so I stuck it out, and I was working two jobs, tired all the time. And this was during the Christmas season of 2017. I walk in, and they have like this vent. It gets really hot in the kitchen, and they have this vent like pointed right at me, and I just could not handle it because I'd be freezing every time I walk in, and I didn't want to get sick because I sleep in a van, and one day they just kind of pushed me a little bit too far with that, and I quit there. So anyway, then 2018 rolled around, and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of washing dishes. I should look for like a better job, something still that I could make more money, but still have like the flexibility to go around and still travel. So I got a job doing pressure washing and soft washing houses and stuff, and that job was all right, but slowly starting to not like that either because I did not like climbing up on roofs and cleaning storm drains on top of the roofs, gutters and stuff. I was like, no. So once I finally got fed up with that, I went to the library and for like 2 hours finally did my resume and set up an Indeed profile and all this other stuff. And that's when I got the job that I have now because they literally the next day this job called me. So, and this is where I had like to think my mom and my sister actually convinced me to take this because I didn't want to lose all the momentum that I was starting to build up. I mean, I had just gotten done doing Ignite Seattle, that little talk. I had just done like 2 street meets with like a bunch of photographers and stuff. I had just did my first Comic Con there, the Emerald City Comic Con. And I was slowly kind of starting to build up a name for myself, as much as that sounds like it. I mean, it's true, I was. And then I had this opportunity to leave and make a bunch of money over here. And I was like, I didn't really want to go. But it was a great way to make money and kind of get out of debt because I was in debt. I had, I think, 3 or 4 credit cards at the time. I owed the IRS a lot of money. And the van was expensive to maintain. When I got that van, the new one, I bought it for $1,000. And since then, I put like another $2,000 into it to keep it running and fixed. That $2,000 came from a credit card also that I had to get through the automotive company. So, yeah. So I took that job and I decided to come live in Montana. They told me it was for a year. Little did I know that it ended up being for a year and a half. So that van was so busted and broke down that literally the speedometer, the odometer, the heater gauge, the temperature gauge, I mean, none of that worked. The whole dash everywhere, you couldn't see anything out of it. So I drove 1,100 miles without knowing any of those and made it over here, which, I mean, I was supposed to do that, so that worked out pretty well. So I came over here in July of 2018, which means that I wanted to brand myself as the Seattle Superman, right? I literally only had the suit in Seattle from October 2017 to July of the next year, which wasn't even a whole year. It wasn't even summer. I had it, and get this too, because I was looking through all my pics the other day, and I don't really have a lot of photos actually in Seattle or the PNW because the glue that was used on the suit didn't hold up in water, and it's like moist and drizzling a lot in Seattle, so I had to be very careful with where I wore it and how often I put it on. So I wasn't wearing it all the time, which meant I wasn't taking a lot of pictures in it. So yeah, then I come out here and there's actually like extreme weather and this and that. But anyway, so in the year and a half that I've been here, because this next month it'll be the end of the contract, I have paid off all my credit cards and bought a new van, have all this nice fancy equipment here. So it was great that I came out here, but now I am really excited to go back to a city again, even if I have to van life or not. Those 7 months that I was in Seattle around people and collabing, that's what gave me a big boost in the first place. And then I come over here in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, it did expand my creativity because I have all those pictures against my backdrop, all that started the astronaut stuff. It started the Superboy stuff. So I got a lot of creativity out of here trying to keep up with, the brand. But it is going to be exciting to go back to a city and try to meet up with people, link with other cosplayers, photographers, videographers, and people that actually want to do stuff together instead of me lugging around everything myself, trying to take photos of myself all the time. So that's where I'm at. That was the past 3 years. I mean, I'm just thinking about it now. It's been hasn't always been the easiest thing, but it has been fun for people. I think like one of the most things that stick out to me the most is, your friends and family, they'll support you and they understand. So when you tell them that you want to quit something and live in a van and travel around, they're just like, oh yeah, you got it. And you can tell them that because you don't really expect to be judged that much. But the first time that I actually had to like tell that to somebody and I could see the look in their face was when my the blue van, like the first van, it almost lost a wheel. Like I just noticed like smoke coming out of the I noticed smoke coming out of it, and I took it to the shop, and they looked and they're like, "Where did you come from?" I'm like, "Oh, Texas." And they literally, this was like also 2 months into me, 2 months into going there. So I left November, and then I had to pretty much take it in the shop in February. And you're like, "Man, I'm surprised you made it up here because this wheel is like literally about to fall off." And they put it and it was up on the rack and everything. And they're like, "Well, we're probably not going to have this done today if we get started now. So we could call you like an Uber or something and take you to your place." And that's when I had to look at the guy and I'm like, you know what, man? Like, honestly, you're gonna have to like bring it down from here because I live in there. And you could just that look that he gave me, just like, oh, you freaking bum, look. And it stung like a lot, But after that, it kind of got a little bit more used to. There's that, and then like, nobody taking you seriously. The girls that you meet, you tell them what you do, and they're just like, loser. You know what I mean? So it's not without its whole like not caring what other people think, trying not to care what other people think days. But there were also a lot of good things too. I mean, I met a lot of you folks. Uh, I think I really have more of an online community now that knows me better than a lot of the previous people that I do know because I talk to you folks all the time in the DMs and in the comments a lot. So I appreciate that. But going into year 4 from here on, I am looking forward to city life and collaborating more with people. So we'll see what year 4 has to bring. I'm sure it's not going to be without some type of hardships, but hey, if it's anything, these past 3 years have taught me a little bit about that. So I'll see you in the next video.